Hello everyone, this is Bob and Threadbare, and would you look at that? Chapter title. Title chapter. Yeah, that's it. Apparently we're in the Outlands. And that's a Planescape reference.
Anybody here? Compared to this place, Arcadia was about as alien as my bedroom. Blue sand. Never seen that outside of a Picasso.
They have a lot of cobalt in it. Cobalt's blue, isn't it? Right, anyway.
It's barren and lifeless. This world looks like it's on the verge of collapsing on itself. That must be the Guardian's Tower. It's either very small or very far away, and from what I know of the balance, it doesn't settle for economy-sized. I think I'm in for a long walk. I can't remember landing. I remember the wormhole, the dimensional shift, then this. The pod took a beating, though. I don't think I'll be able to use it again.
Nothing you can get out of it? That's too bad. So what's with the giant lightning things? There's the other pod. But what about the third one?
There's the second pod, but I don't see... Adrian! He's not in here, so he must have survived the landing, but where is he?
Probably a few hours ahead of you.
Adrian? Adrian! It's Adrian's pod. It's empty.
There's really only one landmark worth thinking about.
The tower's closer than it was before, so I'm making progress. Very slowly. There's nothing out here. It's completely barren.
Well, yeah, exactly. So he went towards the tower first. Oh, hey, it's you.
Oh, God, not that thing again. It's even bigger than before. I thought it couldn't leave Arcadia. I had no idea it could follow me all the way here.
I guess this is a trial by combat.
Dang, it's grown since I last saw it. If it's not stopped soon, it'll consume everything. With that thing ready to attack me, there's no way I can find a way across the chasm.
Let's see. If it's pure chaos, then maybe the
Talisman of the balance.
maybe the talisman will do something.
The talisman doesn't seem to affect the vortex. Maybe its magic isn't strong enough.
Then how about we boost the magic with the last potion?
The magical essence in this vial is supposedly used for binding magic, whatever that means.
Let's try it now. Guess they couldn't afford to have all the special effects there.
It's the talisman. If I had wings, I could fly across. Since I don't, I'll just have to head back down to the desert and try to find my way around the chasm.
How'd you get up there in the first place? Why'd you go up there in the first place? Right. Uh-oh. This looks ominous.
What is this? It looks like... home. It's home. It's not... It's like a projection, but it's definitely the kitchen back home. The way it used to look when I was 8 or 9. God. No, what's happening to me? Who's there?
Come here, pumpkin. I got you something special. Daddy, is that you?
Hush, Pumpkin. Come here. Daddy's got something for you.
Please, Daddy, don't hurt me.
Didn't I say to come here? Come here right now, bro. Daddy wants to give you something, Pumpkin. Come on.
Daddy looks so scary. It's our kitchen, where Mommy cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner and cleans the dishes.
Come to Daddy, Pumpkin. Come to Daddy. And I will make everything quiet.
I'm in my Sunday dress, looking my best for church.
Well, there's really only one item in the inventory here we can use on him. Not the diary, not the talisman, but the keepsake.
Daddy, please, you don't want to hurt me. You're not a bad person. You're not. Really, don't.
I'm not your daddy. I'm not your daddy. You came into our lives and you destroyed us. You took advantage of us. You're a frightful little beast.
But Daddy, you gave me this. You gave this to me, Daddy. You do care. You do love me. You're just not very good at it.
No. You destroyed us. We were a family, and you... God forgive me. What have I done? What have I done to you?
You did nothing, Daddy. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault that I got hurt.
I'd been drinking, and she was so beautiful. My little April, you were so beautiful. We wanted to give you a home. We wanted to be what your biological parents couldn't be. A family. That night, when we brought you home, I'd had a few drinks with the guys. I was feeling a little dizzy, and then your mother, she says to me, "Hold her. Hold your baby girl in your arms." And I take you, and I hold you, and you look up at me with such startled eyes, like it's the first time you see somebody like me. I fell in love with you, my little baby. You were so beautiful, and you smiled at me, and then I don't know what happened, but I was taking a step forward, and I stumbled. You fell to the floor, but you didn't cry. You didn't even whimper. When the doctors told us you would never walk, oh, my baby, I couldn't stand the guilt. I don't know why that made me into the monster that I am. Why I decided that hurting you was the only way I could face my shame. When you started walking, and then getting better and better at it, it was like you were mocking me. I was such a fool, a selfish fool, and now I lost you. Forever.
I forgive you.
You do?
Yes, I forgive you for everything. I forgive you. I
Forgive you, Daddy.
Huh. Well, that's the end of that. But was that really her father brought in while he was dreaming, or was it some construct from April's memories?
Those rocks look dark and forbidding. Very ominous. The tower's very close now. Those rocks look...
Well, either way, we have confirmed now that April is indeed the biological daughter of the White Dragon. She was adopted by her human parents.
Finally, I thought I'd never make it here. Oh, great. There's a large canyon circling the tower, and there doesn't seem to be any way across. The canyon's filled with dense fog, blocking my view. But it's definitely a very long way down, and the walls look much too steep to climb. I'd love to have a look at what's down there. Foreboding clouds.
Well, we can't climb down.
It's the Guardian's tower. So close, yet so far away. If I only knew it was on the other side, perhaps I'd be able to find a way to get across. It's some kind of conical sandstone structure, reaching about a third of the way to the base of the tower.
Now, we do know someone who can fly, but they're kind of in another dimension. But then the Chaos Beast got here from Arcadia, so... Hey!
It worked!
What?
Hello, old friend.
April! What the heck? What happened?
Magic.
I used magic to, magically transport you here.
I should have known. Swirling blue lights never did anybody any good, that's for sure. And that cute little sparrow, oh, she's gonna be so upset when she wakes up and, Hey, when did you learn to do magic?
I picked it up on the way here. Listen, I need you to help me out. I need to find a way across this canyon and into that tower over there.
Why don't you just flap your wings and fly then? Oh, that's funny! I kill myself! Flap your wings and fly! Oh, baby! Ooh, that's a zinger. I gotta write that down somewhere. Wait a minute. Oh, flap your wings and fly! Jeez. Anyways, when did you ever need my help? Oh, sure, you brought me along, let me do your dirty work once in a while, but come on! You could have done just as well on your own. I mean, you just left me high and dry at the end there, didn't you? Just up and left without a word of goodbye.
I didn't mean to leave you like that, Crow, but you couldn't come with me.
Oh, sure. Use me, then leave me. Don't worry, I know how that works. I'm not half as innocent as you seem to think. But I thought we were friends.
Crow, we are friends, good friends.
That why you gave me the name Crow? Oh, I thought it was nice, all right. Real ring to it. Until I found out what a crow actually is over there in Stark.
Crow?
Right. Crow. The sneakiest, dirtiest, most despised bird there is. They're like flying rats. You even have something called a scarecrow to chase us off with, don't you? I mean, crows are so stupid. They're scared off by straw people dressed in rags. Huh. And that's the name you come up with? Crow? Pfft. Bah!
That's not...
No? No excuses. I can't bear it. Oh, the pain. The pain. That's all I am to you, a flying flea bag? I'm sorry, I can't bear to look at you anymore. I gotta fly.
Stay and shut up!
But you...
Gave you that name because of a cartoon character I loved when I was a kid. His name was Crowboy.
Crowboy?
He was the star of a series of what we call animated cartoons. It's like puppet theater you can watch on a canvas or a screen.
Puppet theater. I love puppet theater.
Crowboy was just the coolest bird there ever was. He was a crow and a cowboy. And he had a hat and a lasso and an albatross called Old Whitey that he rode on.
He had an albatross? His own albatross?
And every week he'd come to a new town where the bad guys were making life tough for everybody else, and he'd sort it out like a real hero.
He was a hero? Crowboy?
So that's why I called you Crow. I figured you're not a cowboy, so it'll be just Crow. And besides, I think crows are cool.
Oh, damn. Got right. Damn, me and my big beak. I couldn't keep it shut, could I? I had to say something stupid. I'm so stupid, dumb, stupid, dumb, stupid.
It was a misunderstanding, Crow. It could have happened to anybody, even good friends, especially good friends.
Yeah, but I'm so stupid.
Are you gonna keep beating yourself up, or are you gonna help me? Time's running short.
Of course I'm gonna help you. Anything for you, April. Just tell old Crow what to do, and he'll do it. Like that. I can be a hero too, just like Crow Boy.
Okay, let me think.
Yeah, Crow, you were probably thinking of pigeons? Because pigeons are flying rats.
What happened to you after I left?
I just flew around for a bit. Would you believe it? I actually went back to Mercuria Harbor to find the old man again, see what he was up to. I kinda miss him. I mean, I hate him and I hope his hair falls out, but we were together for 20 years, you know, and there were good days. Well, at least one good day. Anyways, he was gone. Not a trace left of him. Either he drowned, or he got out of town with the rest of them.
What's going on in Arcadia now?
Don't you know? There's a great big war going on, that's what. The Tyrant are rising against the nations of the Northlands, and Mercuria has been evacuated. A lot of people are getting killed, and it looks like the Tyrant might win this time around. They got this huge, swirling, chaotic-looking magical weapon on their side.
Not anymore, they don't.
Really? Well, then maybe our guys do stand a chance after all. It was looking bleak there for a second, believe you me. I was even considering brushing up on my Tyrant, or whatever it is those barbarians speak. Sounds like a bunch of guttural rubbish to me, like, not particularly refined, you know?
Do you know what happened to my friends?
Your friends? Sorry. No, oh, wait, I think... That Venar you've been talking to? Abnaxis? I think I saw him heading north at a great speed, and Mr. Westhouse was kind enough to share a cup of whiskey with me when I went to ask him if he'd seen you. Good stuff. Bad hangover. Other than that, I don't know. Sorry.
Any idea what we should do?
You're asking me? Me? You're actually asking me for advice? Me, huh?
Don't see nobody else around, do you?
I don't perform well when I'm put on the spot like this, you know. But, okay, I'm thinking. I got wings. You need some flying done? I'm your man. Bird, I'm your bird.
Thanks, Crow.
Anytime, babe. I mean, ma'am. Miss April.
Well, we do need some flying done.
Crow, I need you to fly down into the canyon to see what's below the fog.
Into the canyon? Below the fog?
Are you scared?
I didn't say that. It's just, well, fog clings to my feathers and... Would Crowboy do it?
Crowboy would do it, but he'd be careful not to get hurt, and he'd come right back up again if he saw anything remotely dangerous.
Of course. Okay. Hold tight. I'll be back soon.
So what did you see, Crow? What was below the fog?
You're not gonna believe me.
What?
I told you, you're not going to believe me.
Just tell me what you saw.
Nothing.
Nothing? As in nothing out of the ordinary?
No, as in nothing at all. The absence of anything. Below the fog, there was nothing. It was terrifying. Until you've seen what nothing looks like, you won't be able to fully appreciate something. Anything at all. I used to hate this blue sand. I mean, blue sand. What the heck? Now, though, I love it. It's sand. And it's blue. It's something. Not like that. Nothing down there. It was freaky.
So there's no way I can climb down, cross over, and climb up on the other side?
You'll fall into the nothing. I'm telling you, I don't even think time passes down there. You'd be falling through nothing forever.
Damn.
Maybe Bastion's on the other side of that nothing.
Crow, can you fly across the canyon to the base of the tower?
Can a chick lay eggs? Well, I know you can't, but yeah, I can do that. What was it you wanted me to do again?
Just fly across the canyon and see if you can find any weird buttons or levers or something like that.
What for?
There must be a way to cross this canyon, and maybe there's a magical bridge that needs to be activated. I don't know, Crow. Just fly across and check it out, okay?
Will do. Hang on. What am I saying? Of course you'll hang on. It's not like you have any other choice.
What did you find?
No bridge, that's for sure. But there's a well on the other side, on top of that conical sandstone staircase right below the tower. It looked magical. It had that no good, stay the heck away blue shimmer to it. So I didn't fly any closer. Who knows where I'd end up?
That's gotta be the Well of Making.
Well, maybe it can be making us a bridge then. Making us a bridge? I'm killing today.
You're easily amused, Crow.
My brain's 1/10 the size of yours. What do you want from me?
But maybe you got a point. Maybe the Well of Making can help us somehow.
It was only a joke, April.
I know, but still.
Yeah, if we add some making to nothing, then what do you get?
Crow, I want you to get me some water from the Well of Making.
What? Are you crazy? How am I supposed to carry water back from... Oh, no. No. There's no way I'm doing that.
Come on, Crow. Your beak is perfect for the purpose. I don't need a lot of water, and all you have to do is make sure you don't swallow.
Hey, magic's got its upsides, I'm sure. I mean, where would social welfare be without magic? But magic water in my beak? No way. What if I did swallow? If I'm lucky, I'll just explode or something. If not, I've heard stories, April, and none of them are very nice. Magic's not a toy, nor is it a food, and it certainly doesn't belong in my beak.
Please, time's running short and the balance is at stake. You've got to help me, Crow. Don't you want to be a hero?
Hero? Sure. Stooge? No. Oh, curses and damnation and all things mean and ugly. Fine. I'll put my life on the line, tempt fate, and risk a certain and painful death by magical poisoning if...
If what?
If you'll promise to pluck my fleas for the next, year.
1 year? So honor and glory mean nothing to you?
Not as much as a good flea plucking. No.
Okay, deal. Now, fly! Yike! How did it go?
Oh, good. Oh, what to do?
What do I want you to do? I can't take the water, so you're gonna have to do whatever it is we need done with it.
All right.
Okay, let me think about it for a second.
Only one thing to do with it here.
I got an idea, Crow. You said there was nothing down there, right? The absence of anything.
Uh-huh.
The water in your mouth is magical water from the Well of Making.
Whoa.
So what if we add the magic of making to nothing? What happens then? Something, right?
What?
Something's better than nothing. Fly down there and spit the water out on top of the nothing. Then get out quickly. Something will happen, I'm sure of it. I'm just not sure what exactly.
Okay.
I believe if you take too long, he will swallow the water, but it doesn't do anything, and you just need to send him back to get some more. Hey! I wonder if all the Guardians have to do this.
Oh, that's something all right. But what? Where's Crow? Crow! Crow! Crow!
Well, shit.
Oh, please let him be all right, wherever he is.
But we must continue. So, April went through one last portal at the start of this episode, and while that normally means it's up to me to choose the work, there's only one video left after this one, so I'll wait, leave it for then. Instead, thanks to patron Eugenio Triana, I'll be taking a look at a book that may be the most famous work I've covered for this LP, and is certainly thematically appropriate. It's called Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Found There, and it was published in 1871 by author Lewis Carroll. About the author. Lewis Carroll is the pen name of the Englishman Charles Dodgson, who was born in 1832 in Cheshire. Cheshire is in the north of England, just northeast of Wales. Dodgson's family was very conservative and very much in the Church of England. On both sides, his male ancestors were either officers in the English army or members of the Anglican clergy. Unlike the Catholic Church, Anglican priests are allowed to marry, and so Dodgson's father was a country parson. Charles Dodgson was a gifted child, particularly in mathematics, and he graduated at the top of his class in the School of Mathematics at Oxford. However, like a lot of gifted kids, he never really trained his work ethic, plus he had a heavy stammer that did his social life no favors. His family also expected him to enter the Church of England, but while he did become a deacon, he never became a priest, deacons being members of the church but not parish leaders. Dodgson never really explained why he turned down the priesthood, but it's probably because priests need to lead church services week after week. So instead of that, Dodgson made a living by working at the Christ Church College of Oxford University, inventing a few things, writing books about mathematics, and writing short stories and poems, the last one usually under a pen name. Pen names were common at the time, since writing frivolous fiction works was considered an unseemly pastime for an English gentleman. Dodgson apparently came up with the name Lewis Carroll by taking his first and middle names, Charles Lutwidge, Latinizing them to Carolus Ludovicus, anglicizing them back to Carol Lewis, and then reversing the order. During the 1850s and 60s, Henry Little was the dean of Christ Church College, and Dodgson became a good friend to him and his family. Little's daughter Alice seems to have been an inspiration for Dodgson's most famous book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, although he insists that the character Alice isn't based on any one person. Dodgson got the book published under his pen name in 1865, and it was an immediate, massive success. A lot of that success came from how layered the book is. While it doesn't make much sense on the surface, it's very easy to interpret symbols and hidden meanings in the work. As both a poet and a mathematician, he was able to hide a lot of messages in his text, like how you can read Alice Little's name in the first letters of the poem at the end of Through the Looking Glass. Other interpretations probably weren't as intended. Dodgson portrays some rather silly queens in both Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, but Dodgson was as deeply conservative as his family, and thus probably wasn't parodying the nobility. However, there is reason to believe that several parts make fun of his fellow mathematicians. 6 years after Wonderland came out, Dodgson published Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Found There. Then, in 1876, he published a long poem called The Hunting of the Snark, which borrows a lot from the poem Jabberwocky from the Looking Glass book. However, this poem would be Dodgson's last major fiction work. Now, there is some controversy surrounding Charles Dodgson, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up. Dodgson got into photography in the 1850s, and a lot of his photos were of young girls, both dressed and undressed, and his interest in them may have been inappropriate. However, his defenders would point out that Victorian culture at large had a, by today's standards, inappropriate obsession with naked girls, and while Dodgson never married, he apparently had a lot of relations with adult women that were hushed up by his conservative family after his death. Either way, there's no indication that he did anything more than take pictures, and there were always adult relatives at the photo shoots. So, let's put even the thought out of our heads and focus on the story. Okay, so both Alice books don't exactly have plots so much as they have a sequence of strange events and weird dialogue. There's no real story to summarize, just a list of things Alice sees or listens to. If you want a real sense of what Through the Looking Glass is like, you need to read the book, but I can at least give you the highlights here. Chapter 1 begins with Alice in her home scolding a kitten, and most likely mimicking her mother in the process. The scolded kitten is white, and there's also a black kitten, and their mother Dinah. Alice then plays with some red and white chess pieces, and after that she speculates about the house in the looking glass, the mirror that's set above the fireplace. She pretends that the mirror is like mist and passes through, and she finds out the room on the other side is very different in the parts that she couldn't see before. In the looking glass room, the chess pieces come alive, but for some reason they can't see Alice, and the Red Queen and King panic when she interacts with them. She then picks up a book and reads the Jabberwocky poem, which makes a strange amount of sense even though half the words are made up. Alice then goes out to explore the rest of the looking glass world. Alice first stops in the garden and talks to the chatty flowers until the Red Queen arrives. The Red Queen is now life-size, although she still looks like a chess piece, and she walks with Alice to the top of a nearby hill. There, Alice discovers that the world is now laid out like a massive chessboard, and then the Red Queen and Alice run at full tilt in order to get absolutely nowhere. The Red Queen then suggests that Alice cross the chessboard to the other side, since that would promote her from a pawn to a queen. A series of straight brooks divide the land into the chess squares, and when Alice crosses the first, she finds herself on a train. Alice shares her carriage car with a man dressed in white paper, a goat, a beetle, and a gnat who sits in Alice's ear and gives her advice about jokes. The train ride doesn't last long, since a pawn's first move can be 2 spaces, and as soon as Alice is off the train, the gnat becomes the size of a chicken. The two discuss insects for a while, but then the gnat vanishes. Alice now finds herself in a forest and talks to a fawn, and then follows a road to the home of Tweedledum and Tweedledee. The two are originally from a nursery rhyme, and after running around with Alice for a bit, Tweedledee recites a poem about a carpenter and a walrus tricking some oysters and then eating them. The three then encounter a sleeping Red King, and the Tweedles say that Alice is a part of the Red King's dream. The two then reenact the nursery rhyme about them, and it ends in the same way, with a giant crow showing up and making them run away. Alice runs away too, and then she finds a shawl belonging to the White Queen. She gives it back right away, and the two talk about linear time and impossible things. But then Alice crosses another brook, and the White Queen becomes an old sheep running a general store. The store turns into a boat, and then back, and when Alice decides to buy an egg, she ends up in the next square. The egg becomes Humpty Dumpty, another nursery rhyme character. He's a giant egg sitting on a wall, and he boasts about knowing the king and having an arrangement with him. He also explains the first stanza of the Jabberwocky poem, revealing that many of the made-up words are portmanteaus. Humpty then shares his own poem, but then, just like the rhyme, he soon has a great fall, and all the king's incompetent men and horses have no hope of putting him back together. After Alice leaves, she spots the king in question, the White King. The two go to watch a lion and a unicorn fight for his crown, a fight that's also based on a nursery rhyme, and the two patron animals on the United Kingdom's crest. Anyway, the two are evenly matched, so they break for pudding, but then they get drummed out of town. Alice has to close her eyes and cover her ears thanks to the noisy drums, and when she opens them, she sees a red knight. The red knight tries to capture Alice, but then a white knight shows up to protect her. The two fight by constantly falling off of their horses, but eventually the white knight wins. He shows her his inventions, he falls off his horse some more, and then he sings a new set of lyrics for the song I Give Thee All I Can No More. After that, Alice crosses the last brook and promotes to queen. Alice gets a crown with her promotion, and then the red and white queen show up, and give her a hard time, despite them now supposedly being equals. The two queens then go to sleep, so Alice decides to do things properly and host a feast to celebrate her ascension. Everyone comes, including the two queens, who proceed to give Alice a hard time again at the feast, especially after the roast introduces itself. Alice eventually gets sick of their antics, so she grabs the Red Queen and shakes her until she becomes the Black Kitten from earlier. So now Alice is awake and back in her house. She decides that the Red Queen was the Black Kitten, the White Queen was the White Kitten, and the cat Dinah was Humpty Dumpty. Alice talks to them some more, and then the book ends with a poem. The analysis. Right, so, let me first say this. You can get a lot of analysis out of Through the Looking Glass. The story operates on dream logic and wordplay, and everything almost makes sense until you start to think about it. The book has a ton of layers to explore, and if I wanted to give it a proper analysis, I'd need 5 critical essays and one of those annotated copies where the regular text takes up less than half of each page. But I don't have the time to put in that kind of investment, so instead I'll be giving you a surface-level analysis of the impressions I got from a single read-through. For this reason, and because I left out a ton of wordplay, I strongly recommend that all of you at least pick up a free copy of the book from the Gutenberg Project and give it a read yourself. And don't worry, it's very short. Anyway, my impressions. First off, early on I noticed a small but important difference between Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. In Wonderland, Alice is lost. She follows the White Rabbit down a hole into Wonderland, and although she chases him when she can, Alice often gets lost, sidetracked, or endangered. The world is hostile to her presence, and the people in it are at best indifferent and confusing. However, in Looking Glass, Alice always has a goal. At first, it's to explore the mirror version of her home, but after that, it's to become a queen. She knows which way to go. She knows what to do. And while the Looking Glass people are still confusing, Alice engages with them because she wants to. She doesn't need to ask them for directions. As such, she's always glad to take part in whatever's going on, even if she doesn't always understand it. Personally, I see this as character growth for Alice. She's 7.5 years old in Looking Glass, and at that age, Wonderland is a lot like her life. Strange people keep showing up in her life and doing things she didn't realize they could do. They say things that have double meanings, one of which she doesn't know, and they do things that are the opposite of what they say. Alice is just starting to understand hypocrisy, the idea that adults are fallible, and the fact that adults can and will lie straight to her face. The world makes no sense, but in Looking Glass, Alice is starting to understand that it's okay if it doesn't make sense. People are full of contradictions, and so is Alice. So why not engage with the madness and promote yourself to queen? Let's see now. I might be mistaken about this, but I believe Looking Glass draws more directly from nursery rhymes than Wonderland did. If that's true, it would indicate that Alice has been learning some new things since we last saw her. It might not be arithmetic, but then most people don't dream about math when they sleep. Another running theme, and Alice points this out herself, is that all the poems in the book seem to be about fish and seafood. This might mean something deeper, it probably does, but to me, it's either because she fell asleep with 2 kittens and cats famously love fish, or it's because Alice simply fell asleep hungry. One other thing I'd like to point out, the Red King. Tweedledum and Tweedledee insist that Alice is part of the Red King's dream, and so she will vanish in an instant the moment he wakes up. That's surprisingly existentialist when you really think about it, and it's the kind of thing that makes you wonder about the nature of reality and consciousness. Even after Alice wakes up at the end, she still wonders how much of the dream was hers and how much was the Red King's. Or, to flip the question to you, how much of your Looking Glass experience was yours, and how much was Lewis Carroll's? Thanks for joining me again for today's book review, and I hope I'll see you next time when things get a little weird and then a little wild.